各位观众大家好，欢迎收看邓洪说法节目，我是美国联邦律师邓洪，让我们知法守法，据理力争。离11月8日的选举还剩下15天，两党之争不单只在选票上面的话开始推票，另外一方面在法院上面官司还是不断的。今天最高法院 汤姆斯这位是黑人的大法官，保守派人士，今天在 Lindsey Graham 应该不应该出庭作证这方面做出一个重大的裁决。首先Lindsey Graham 他自己是代表 South Carolina 州的国会参议员，他在8月份的时候乔治亚州的一个地方检察官发出传票，要求他本人到乔治亚州就2020年在选举结果的时候他是否参与或者是这个影响这个选举结果进行刑事调查，要他本人亲自出庭作证。他的律师向联邦法官说，你这是地方的检察官，我是联邦国会参议员，我所做的行为他是完全是符合他国会议员的职责，因为他作为这个参议院司法委员会，他有权利调查各地的选举是否有作弊的行为。他打电话到这个乔治亚州，跟州务卿还有当地的共和党议员了解情况，这是符合他议员的职责，所以的话你地方政府没有这个权利来追究他的立法委员的身份所以以这个理由拒绝了。不过上诉法院推翻他的证词，他说这个部分因为你参与的有可能牵涉到违法行为，所以你必须要到大陪审团面前作证。所以在今天这个最高法院的大法官汤姆斯他暂时的话这个停止了大陪审团对 Lindsey Graham 的传讯在汤姆斯他签署的话，他说我们现在暂时停止要求检察官提供足够的证据证实为什么你要传呼一个立法委员到你的大陪审团里边出庭作证呢？因为我们可以看一下子乔治亚州这名叫做这个 Fannie Willis， 他是属于民主党选出来的民主党检察官，他是Fulton检察官。他上台的时候他曾经说他选举舞弊是一个是假的，他说这个就是川普他上台之后他要调查川普还有他的盟友是否利用施压的方法来改变选举的结果，所以他进行了大陪审团的这个调查。那检察官可以有收到足够的证据，他可以直接起诉之后让法官经过初审的这种方法来进行这个看检察官所提出的刑事起诉是否有足够的证据这种情形的话，如果经过初审的程序必须是公开的，并且被告有足够的理由进行这个提出一些交叉盘问当然另外一种起诉方式它是不需要经过初审，是检察官单方面向大陪审团进行提诉大的陪审团 Grand Jury 跟我们日常所接触的陪审团是不一样的。我们平时收到传票一般的话就是要求你去做陪审员所以你就是这个案件里边有可能选上有可能没选上这个部分一般的刑事案件陪审员民众所做的话都是属于这个一次性的这个主要也是听双方面检察官跟被告律师所呈现的证据，最后做出决定是否有罪。而 Grand Jury 大陪审团它是取代了跟普通的大陪审员是不一样。首先它是任期是1年，所以专门的工作就是听案件，所以这种在大陪审团它往往是没有双方都呈现里边，检察官向大陪审团的团员里边提供这个证据被告律师 被告还有其他人不能够再进入这个程序里边。像我们律师，如果是代表当事人的出庭作证我们律师都不能够进入大陪审团的听证会，只能是在走廊外面等候。如果当事人不明白的，他必须要到外面来。大陪审团的功能它就是协助检察官调查，协助检察官起诉。以后一旦是大陪审团提出了起诉，基本上就不需要经过初审，就直接可以打到陪审团。对很多检察官来说，他们不想暴露手上的证据也不想的话让外界知道里边的证据，也不想让这些证人行使第5搜证案保持沉默的权利，也不想让证人行使他的第6搜证案，也是聘请律师的权利。他们往往会透过大陪审团这种方式进行起诉。所以在这个案件里边这个 Fannie Willis 他是想透过大陪审团进行调查起诉。他已经公开表示这个 Giuliani 是他的调查对象。另外一方面呢，他的调查对象呢，最重要，他变成一个犯罪集团。他指控川普跟他的盟友这个向乔治亚州的州务卿还有共和党的议员施压，并且自己挑选出来了一些这个共和党的这个人员代表作为到这个华盛顿 DC 去呈现了这个非官方性的认票这个有利于川普的这种选举结果，来取代乔治亚州州议会所确定的代表。所以他用的是阴谋共谋推翻选举结果这样的一个调查。当然这个调查里边这个 Lindsey Graham他当时作为这个众议员参议员，他曾经打电话给这个共和党的一些民意代表，包括州议员、州务卿当时川普曾经跟这个州的共和党的这个州务卿说，你想办法帮我找到11000多张选票当然他现在要传呼这个 Graham 最重要证实川普在选举的时候影响并且试图取代乔治亚州的这个选举的代表。所以这个部分里边的话，他这位保守派的大法官 Clarence Thomas 暂时终止，也就是说 Graham 暂时不需要出庭作证。现在检察官会提出上诉的这方面的答辩书最后有可能9位大法官一起进行紧急听证，看看 Lindsey Graham 要不要出庭作证了在 Graham 的立场来说，他就是属于国会参议员，在有这个职责也这个权利调查调查这个选举是否有舞弊的情形当然这个检察官说，你就是帮川普想办法来推翻来影响这个乔治亚的选举结果的。将来最高法院有可能会9位大法官进行听证。当然在加州今天又有一个重大的判决这一名叫做 Cassie Miller 的，他在 Kern County在一个 Fresno 的地方里边的话，他做了一个这个蛋糕店有一对同性恋的这个客人过来，他说我们要做一个婚礼的这个蛋糕，他拒绝了。以后后来州政府调查，他说他是否牵涉到歧视同性恋。这个案子在 Kern County 里边这个已经是发生第2起，这也是在今天当地的法官 Kern County 的话，他说 Cassie Miller 他有权利，他有言论自由还有宗教自由，他自己是一个基督徒，他不认同同性恋的婚姻，他自己有权利可以不接受这个同性恋的订单。这个案子在 Colorado 州已经有多次的这个上诉。 Colorado 州也是一样同性这个商家有这个权利拒绝接受这个同性恋的订单在今年的最高法院里边 同样这个案件再度呈现出来了也就是说，究竟商家能不能拒绝同性恋的服务，向同性恋者提供服务当然在加州很难见到这个法官会能够对这个商家的这种宗教信仰会尊重的。这也是所以为什么以前一般的话都是说你歧视同性恋，商家的话不给同性恋提供服务就是歧视行为但是 Kern County 的法官是相当保守的，他认为民众有这个权利来可以拒绝给同性恋提供服务。当然这个案件最高法院会做最后的裁决。从目前情势看起来，6名保守法官是大部分都是属于这个相信基督徒有这个权利宗教自由的，所以很有可能最高法院的话会挺这个商家做出这个对同性恋的这些强迫商家提供服务这种做法的话，他们会做出一个最后的裁决的。Santa Monica 这个一贯的话都是这个很多民众希望住进海边的地方但是在过去10多年人口成长了，但是这个住房没有增加所以今天洛杉矶时报里边的话，他说现在已经有120多个城市都是富有城市，包括 Santa Monica 还有 Beverly Hills这个 Coronado 圣地亚哥的包括我们华人比较多的话，就 San Marino 这些城市，他们都采用一个的话就是地目法限制新的住屋这个在这些有钱的城市开始开建。不过今天的洛杉矶时报报道的话，在现在开发商找到了一个30年以前的法律漏洞。这个法律漏洞的话，他们现在已经是尽管 Santa Monica 市政府他说我们居住人口太多，人数太多了，交通拥挤，所以的话对一些 apartment 来说他们是不批的。不过的说，现在找到这个法律漏洞之后Santa Monica 现在已经要准备建15层楼的 apartment， 15层楼大概的话有4500多个单位的 apartment， 很快的话就在Santa Monica 里边出现了。当地的市政府尽力反对，但是根据州法30年以前的州法，他说这个州法里边的话叫做 Builders Remedy， 这个是开发商的补救方法。这个方法的话就是说每8年市政府地方政府都必须要向州政府提供这个公屋的这个数据，它有一个 quota， 你每个地方政府都要完成这个配额。如果是没有完成，这种情况之下，开发商可以直接提出这个开发方案，而地方政府没有权利否决。州政府州法的话会打败地方法规，以州法为准。所以这个方案里边的话很少使用，但是目前来说，尤其是游民问题很严重housing 这个只要开发商说我有20%的单位是属于低收入的，所以的话这个项目的话就以州法为主。所以的话尽管地方的这个法规这个可能反对，所以同时从明年开始，很多这些商业地也可以作为这个住宅地所以很多现在加州现在在住房方面已经发生了天翻地覆的变化。而在州政府方面的话，它开始惩罚地方政府地方政府可能根据交通治安这方面的话可能会有各方面的限制，但是州政府已经透过一波接着一波的限制这个法规给地方政府治理管理的这个权利削减了。就像这个案件里边，开发商只要能够提供这些项目，可能有20%是预留给低收入的，基本上地方政府 没有再有这个权利来阻止这些大项目的推荐。估计除了 Santa Monica 之外，现在有120个城市，因为在过去8年没有达到州政府所提供的这个公屋要求，他们都会面临的话，就是开发商可以强硬的这个透过州政府州法来获取到营建的执照。所以这个部分已经有很大的变化。很多时候现在的参政的人都是很多就像洛杉矶一样的。我们认为这个洛杉矶的市长他自己拿出了3500多万初选，应该顺利当选。然后但是突然间连这个 Rich Crusoe 那么有钱的人，那么有智慧的人居然没有过半。以后这个洛杉矶还有另外一个也是跌破眼镜的选举，就是 Chinatown 这个第1选区的这个选举。原任者是拉丁裔，也是在州议会从事多年的。他自己里边的话觉得这个现任这个话觉得话肯定是没问题，因为他没有太多的争议，也会西班牙语以后 Chinatown 的华人也支持他。没想到另外一名33岁从来没有任何经验的拉丁裔，以后居然将他拉下马。因为他推动的话，我们现在这个住屋游民问题没有得到合理的安排，很多游民没有办法有地方住。他推动的方案就是要在 Chinatown 建立更多的游民中心来安置这些游民。他的方案华人不知道，以后也没有，大家也不看好他。没想到 Hernandez 的话居然将现任者打败，成为第1选区的议员。我们签字要罢免这个放任犯罪的检察长 George Gascon， 然后有70多万的签字。我们要罢免州长 Newsom， 然后同样的幕后都有这些恶势力。究竟这个恶势力来自哪里呢？在1个多礼拜以前，我听了一个 podcast， 后来这个周末的时候我终于找到了一些这个背景里边的原因，幕后的黑手是什么？为什么这个幕后的黑手有那么大的影响力呢？其实这篇文章的话发表在 Vox News 里边，他说一个叫做有效的利他主义，现在已经是从一个少数的一个小运动变成一个大规模有上亿的这个政治力量团体。这篇文章他讲到了现在目前为什么我们有这个翻天地覆的变化。这个名字就叫做 effective altruism。effective 是有效的， altruism 的话是利他主义。这个他谈到的话，2009年这位名叫做 Will Murkowski，这个 Murkowski 的话，还有他另外一名叫做Toby Old， 这2个都是年轻人。他们2个的话是在英国牛津大学里边教哲学的。它里边推动的话，一个叫做这个 effective altruism， 就是说现在我们全球面临很大的挑战，就是贫富悬殊相差太大。西方的工业国家跟还有很多贫穷的国家，已经是造成了很不公平的这种不公平的竞争，造成这个全球的话面临很大的挑战。要创造一个和平的平等的一个社会这个捐钱的慈善的话要有效的做慈善。它里边提出的理论里边的话，就是说要改变这个现状。那基本上慈善机构不能够只是专做某个项目，而更有效的以这个4两拨千斤的做法， 就是要改变体制。在推动里边的话，他鼓吹里边的话，每一个成功的人士应该捐出10%的财产来替社会做事，而这些慈善机构他们要更有效的话，就是不是集中在某个项目，而是集中在改变体制。所以改变体制的话，政治体制是最重要的。在里边，在他的倡导之下，他的运动展开了。在所有这些慈善机构里边，你可以看得出这些亿万富翁，他们刚开始做的时候，一般都是集中在帮助这些艺术发展奖学金还有做这边到了这个80年代的话，基本上这股思潮还是集中在某个项目。到了90年代，到了2000年20年开始，这个 effectiveness wave 的话，这个是有效的有效的利他主义这个思潮里边的话，吸引了大部分的这些非盈利机构。这个非盈利机构包括了1993年 Soo 他自己设立了这个3200亿的资金以后开始在各地进行推动这个EA 的运动。EA 运动就是要怎么样子透过改变政策、改变参与政治以后让这些换了这些推动这些自由派的人士作为国会议员以后，这改变政策，这样子的更有效。所以你可以看得出这个 Open Society 这个是 Soo 他索罗斯所设立的，他的目标他就是要怎么样子来能够让司法制度更加这个平等让这个要改变推动这个更多的这个人来参与政府的活动你可以看得出他索罗斯他赞助推动了这个大麻合法化。他们认为大麻的很多被有案底的都是属于黑人，所以他认为这种制度是不公平的，大麻应该合法化。现在他更推动，现在有很多毒品这个惩罚不公平，白人的被告跟黑人的被告惩罚是不相符的。他认为大麻合法化之外，其他的毒品也应该合法化所以这种理念的话，它不单只是像这个要做什么事每个项目，而是说他将慈善的机构、慈善的目标以后投资进行了这个参与政治。从以前的好像癌症的研究某个项目，现在的话他们要更有效的来推动这个他人主义这个自私没有这个altruism 的话，就是利他主义，帮助他人。所以这个理念里边的话，也吸引了很多华尔街还有这个高科技的人士开始的话，我们要秉持这个 EA 的理念开始来捐钱。你可以看得出来Facebook Mark Zuckerberg 他捐款了，成立了这个基金会，同样也是一样，要开始进行改变政策在洛杉矶地区的话，这个 Eli Broad 这个的话也是亿万富翁，他也拿出了40亿来进行推动在这个 Jeff Bezos 他这个是这个 Amazon 的老板，他同样的也拿出了几亿的资金来响应了这个运动在硅谷有很多这些高科技的新创的老板，他们赚到钱了之后，他们都将自己的钱以后投新的这个 EA 运动。在 EA 运动里边，这名叫做 Sam Bankman-Fried， 他自己是做这个虚拟货币，他自己的话他身价的话有200多亿身价。他说我只拿1%，99%我要投于这个 EA 运动。 在 EA 运动的话，他自己在上个礼拜也表示，他说在今年如果是他会投1亿的资金来支持这种激进派的候选人，来影响政策。而如果是川普要参选，他自己会将这个经费的话加码到在2024年会增加到10亿的资金。所以为什么这些幕后的话有那么多人的支持？因为他这个 EA 运动，所以这篇文章的话就显示出来，他这个已经是在 $1 billion 的 force， 他已经有他的统计的话，基本上 EA 所有的这些非盈利机构，他们现在掌控的资金有400多亿资金，并且他们不再投资这种慈善的某个项目，而是将钱投在这个政治方面的，透过一些支持激进派的候选人来改变政策，来改变社会。所以这个就是很危险的一种做法。当然在这过程之中，我们民众应该觉醒起来，因为激进派他们有钱，不过他们有钞票，未必能够打败我们手中的选票。所以今年的选举对我们民众来说至关重要。这种激进派的 EA 后面在推动一系列的激进派的候选人，其中这些候选人都包括很多华人的候选人，尤其是北加州的像Evan Low、Alex Lee、Phil Tang、Phil丁佑利，还有这我们南加州的赵美心，南加州的方树强，这些都是华裔激进派的候选人，他们都是得到 EA 运动后面的这个间接的支持。所以这种情形之下，我们华人更应该睁大眼睛，要知道的话，他们会不会被这个 EA 运动这些支持而出卖我们社区的利益。今天很荣幸的话，采访到了这名叫做Soo这个候选人，住在这个 ABC 学区 Cerrito 的学区，大概熟识他是一个教会牧师娘，韩国人，8岁来的美国，他自己经营补习班，然后他在学区里边的话是属于保守派的，他做了9年的学区委员，现在他出任的话来竞选67选区的这个加州议员。他自己认为我们必须要投票来保护自己下一代的这个教育，下一代的这个环境。所以我今天跟大家来解说，跟采访了他，有谈了一些很多我们华人家长所遇到的问题，也呼吁居住在67选区的华裔选民一定要出来投票，一定要投票支持这位Law and Order， 也是我们注重我们这个子女教育的这一位候选人，他的名字叫Soo。谢谢大家的收看，我们下期再会。Okay. Good morning, Soo. It's very my honor to have a chance to introduce Soo to our audience. I know a lot of people who live in South Bay area, include Cerrito, Fullerton, and Artesia, Howard Garden, Billon Park. We have a chance to make a difference.
Yes.
Good morning, Soo.
Good morning.
Yes. Last week, I have a chance to meet with Soo, who was the president, had been working for the ABC school board for numbers of years. And a good friend of mine, Carol Chance, introduced me to her, and I have a chance to get to know her agenda. That's the reason I want to invite Soo to our channel to introduce her to our viewer. So if anyone who live in the area, you have a chance to make a big difference because Soo is running on a platform for our children. Soo, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Sure. My name is Soo Yu, and thank you for having me on this program to get my message out. I'm a Korean American. I was born in South Korea and came when I was 8 years old. And I have been on the school board for 9 years and education business, SAT prep and college preparation for 30 years. So I've been working with children and teenagers for about 30 years plus.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 3 years under the Biden administration, I mean, what's been rolling out, like 2 years, right? 2 years,
Yes.
What's been rolling out, the policies from Sacramento is just unbelievable. And of course, it started with the Obama administration with the whole comprehensive sex education, and they're just pushing it too far.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole gender identity is just, I just cannot stay silent anymore because this is really harming our children.
Yes.
And I really felt the conviction to share this with the community, with the parents and the stakeholders, so that each individual family now have to protect your children
Mm-hmm.
from liberal policies, and educators are mandated to comply with the government policies that destroys our children.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's why I'm running for the state assembly.
About 10 years ago, when my daughter was preparing for her college admission, I was hand-holding her and trying to get her into the best school.
Yes.
She took ACT and later on was lucky enough to get into University of Pennsylvania and get into Wharton Law School. But now a lot of people know that, Daniel, how are you going to, how did you help your daughter get into the Ivy League? I said, I have no clues now. Because right now, California, the UC system, they don't consider ACT or SAT.
Okay.
I have a good friend of mine, Andrew. Andrew, he also in the same business as you, helping people prepare for college admission, prepare for SAT. For the last 2 years, UC system already taking away. They won't consider the student's score, SAT score, ACT score. The parents, they used to encourage their kids, just like a Korean family. We put our kids to preparation school. We encourage our kids to do volunteer work. Volunteer work with a good grade, they very easily they could get into a good college. But now, it depends on your race. 5 years ago, the Chinese parent went on street and protest against Evan Chow and a lot of those progressive state legislature because the SAT basically take away the, they would consider students' ethnic background, the race. Of course, minority Asian is being excluded. Now, were you frustrated by this kind of what's going on in California?
Of course. I've been in the education business for 30 years. I raised 4 daughters and I coached hundreds of students and thousands of students with SAT prep, and I was able to produce perfect scores, send them to top colleges in the last 30 years. How many did I do that? However, the last 10 years it was shifting. The college admission criteria has been shifting every year. It's like unpredictable. So the downfall is hardworking students and families are punished. There's just so much discouragement. And as a consultant and a professional in this area, I'm kind of confused too. I'm lost. What is the admission criteria? The biggest downfall of this is that we're bringing down the academic level and we're dumbing down the students. Before the students were learning pre-algebra and algebra at 6th grade. Now with the Common Core standards, we're just bringing all that down. The Common Core math has really, really destroyed the math potential and the level of our entire system. So my biggest concern is this. I don't mind for some of the students who are not math, inclined, but how about the students that we need to raise up to compete with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So students from India, South Korea, China, and Japan, and all these students are just getting ahead.
Yeah.
And then parents have to scrap and independently, privately, educate the students.
Yeah.
So the last 10 years, the policies, whatever your party is, it doesn't matter, Democrat, Independent, or Republican. I really hope that you are able to see what's going on, because we as Asians, aside from the party, we really share the same value, which is love our family.
Yes.
We are so dedicated to our students and our next generation.
Yes.
But the current policies and the current legislators in Sacramento is directly attacking our family and children.
That's very scary. And actually, believe it or not, I'm also the victim of that policy. 4 years ago, my daughter, who was the top 5% student at UC Irvine, she was accepted into UCLA, but she wanted to get into med school. So she picked UC Irvine so that she could excel among her classmates. She did. She was the top 5%. But when she applied for medical school, even though UC Irvine had her own medical school, she applied for it and she saw that, hey, I'm top 5% of the class, and I also graduated from UC Irvine. The UC Irvine medical school would at least give her a chance. She did not even get a chance to do any interview. Not even an interview.
Yes.
Like all her classmates, some of them, they're African American, Latino, they much they do not get a good grade, but they were able to get into the medical school. She was crying. She said, Daddy, what did I do wrong? I did everything you tell me to do, and I get a good grade. I volunteer at City of Hope. I do research, but I'm not getting into the medical field. That's kind of things that, obviously.
Yes. The reverse racism.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's totally against our family value. We educate, you and I was the first generation of American, we immigrant come to the United States. We believe in that, as long as we work hard, I could become a lawyer. My wife is an immigrant from Taiwan. She become a doctor. We always instill our children that as long as you work hard, have a good work ethic, you can excel. But the system is discriminating us, because our race. I remember, when I was in China, I was denied opportunity attending school because my grandpa was a landlord. The 5 bad elements of the society under the communist system. We came over here just because our color of the skin would get reverse discrimination. Our children was barred a chance of going into the best medical school. But you know what? We need to rise up. We need to protect and make sure our second generation have the best chance. Our third generation would not be judged by the color of the skin, but by their character and the ability. I think, you have been fighting in ABC school board. I read some of the things that, because last year the school board, you were taking a stand, and share with me, with us, what do you see, what's wrong with the school system right now in California?
Sure. So with the college admission, as you mentioned, we are inconvenient minority, and this white privilege will soon shift to Asian privilege and causing all these racial tensions. Who's causing that? Intentional, right? You can see that. I totally get it. We need to give space and room for underrepresented students to have a chance. That is fantastic. But what about the Asians who work so hard? They sacrifice summer vacations. They sacrifice buying new cars in order to support their kids.
Yes.
We have to reward these families who work so hard, because these are the students who will build the future of America. And last year, I had to oppose all these mandates coming down from Sacramento, especially when it comes to sex education, sexualizing our children as young as elementary school.
Yes.
Gender confusion. You can be a female, you can be a male, you can be trans, you can be bi, you can have two, you can be they. Instilling these pronouns to our students at a young age and making it sound like it's normal against our values and our family values is wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
I don't care what your party is, but this is wrong because the students, our children who go through this confusion and sexualization, they will be so messed up. Yeah. And I have wept with so many moms. Yeah. Even without this indoctrination and brainwashing, I do a lot of counseling. I wept with moms.
Yeah.
And what are we doing to our children? You know, the AB 107?
Yeah.
You know what, that totally passed.
Yeah.
And now the children as young as 12 years old and older can have trans therapy, hormone blocker without parental consent. And with your tax dollars, we're paying children from out of state to come and receive this therapy with your tax dollars. This is why we cannot support any tax increase anymore. Nothing, no bond, nothing, because this government is 100% one party. Yeah. And it's 75% one party. That's total power. And they've been their total corruption. And so if Asians don't rise up, we're going to lose California and our next generation.
That scary part is that the one who proposed all this progressive agenda are led by Evan Lowe, Alex Lee, and all this so-called AAPI elected official. They're out of touch. I respect their right to be gay, but don't teach our kids how to be a gay.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally wrong. The system itself, because right now, the progressive are using Asians elected official to push their progressive agenda. That's the reason, I'm seeing all these frustrated things that's happening in the community. And I know Evan Lowe, but when he proposed that it's okay for the boy to use the girls' restroom and ban Target and Walmart, the toys for boy and for girls, and everything is sex neutral. When Alex Lee, who's representing San Jose, and when, and all this pushing those agenda, forcing our parents, to take away the parents' right for that. I think last week when I met with you, you showed me the textbook. Those textbooks are being pushed for all the public school who are just 12 years old. But when I read those graphics, it's like a pornography.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with the high school, which is the best school, all the Chinese parents, they move to Cerrito, Borneo Park, because they have a chance to go to the best public high school. Were you concerned the direction the public school is going in the future if the progressive?
I'm very, because the system is such that everything you have to be compliant. So the school administrators, teachers, principals, the district staff, superintendent, they are very concerned about the compliance. Many of them do not agree with the policies coming down from Sacramento, but that is the oppression and that is the intimidation. That if you don't comply, the funds will be cut off. That's how the system is. Because I learned, and I didn't know this before, but as soon as I decided to run for the state assembly because of all this corruption, I've been thinking 100% statewide office held by one party.
Yes.
So we don't know what's going on, how these laws are passed and put into action, and all the funding is tied, strings are attached. So you cannot blame the educators because they're just following the law.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think one of the things we could do is to vote those legislature out, and because we believe in check and balance. We do not believe in supermajority. Those are the who are taking away our right without even debating it, because they got Democrat get control of the Senate and they have the supermajority. That's the reason we need to support a candidate who's a Republican, who want to instill at least with check and balance. I think we get a good chance. Let me tell you, why we get a good chance. Last week on the Friday, the big event, 700 people attending, is a Chinese CPA association. 4 Congress member was invited. Michelle Steele, Young Kim, Sanchez, and Judy Chu. When this is a Chinese organization, professional organization. When Michelle and Young Kim came to the podium, everybody proud. But when Linda Sanchez and Judy Chu came to the podium, nobody proud. Because you know why? People are smart enough.
Yes.
They know that they don't like Democrat policy. Even though Judy Chu is a Chinese American.
Yes.
We have a lot of people who does not like her policy. We have majority of a Chinese American, it's just like Korean American. They want pro law enforcement, law and order. They want people who care about education. We're conservative in that sense. We want the children who have equal opportunity.
Yes.
Judy Chu, everybody knows that she's getting the Chinese vote, getting Chinese donation, but she's voting and selling our interests. That's the reason people are smart enough to distinguish, right? That's even in the Chinese community, those Democrat congressmen, they're not welcome anymore. How about the 67th, assembly district? I think we get a very good chance in this time to turn the tide and then vote getting somebody like Soo to the city, to Sacramento. Tell us your district and how we could make sure that you get elected.
Yes. So out of the 80 assembly members in Sacramento, 60 are Democrats. That's one party. Super majority.
Yes.
We need to win 8 seats to break the super majority. And in California, currently, we are no longer minority. Asians and Latinos make up over 62% of California. That means we have no excuse for allowing San Francisco to be how it is right now. And San Jose, what's going to happen? I really want to encourage Chinese community and Korean community to rise up. Look at Los Angeles. It's looking like a ghetto. That's where I grew up. Okay. Homelessness everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
and the crime.
Yes. Unbelievable. Dash and grab. So we are living through really difficult time. Do you want to leave this kind of California to your children? And this is the reason why I'm running. And it really breaks my heart to know that in the very near future, we will have many children who wants to go through the hormone therapy and parents will be leaving. But it's going to happen. And this is what's going to wake up many Asian families. They're going to see left and right. They're going to see this happening because it is signed into law. They are pushing the culture because they have a control over the culture. We are fighting a cultural war against our families and children. So we have to really rise up. In my district, we have 32% Asian. That
32%.
32% and 30% Latino. Let me tell you, people are rising up. They're waking up.
Yes.
They're tired. There's a silent majority, but only 5% of the Asians voted in primary. What you can do to help me is by voting. Number one, tell your friends to vote. If you want to see some change in Sacramento, we need to get the right people in to fight with conviction. Because this is not about politics. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's about your children and my children.
Yes.
Second thing I need is I need the funds. If you can donate to my campaign, I need to raise $100,000 in the next 2 weeks before the election to get the message out. I have 5 different languages and I'm sending the message out about this corruption and this one-party government in California. Yes. Because I was thinking about moving out last year, I decided to stay and fight. And that's why I stepped up to run for the state assembly because this is the seat. No one wants to run. I happen to speak 3 languages, English and Spanish, and I'm very multicultural. Yes. I'm able to relate and communicate. I grew up with Latinos in LA.
Well, believe it or not, many Latino, just like Asians family, they care about the future. They care about the safety of the community. Yes. And I think a lot of Latino, they're waking up. Those progressive agenda, they're hurting their kids as well, and I think many of the people, they're concerned, now in this new district, I know that, this is a new district. We have people who live in Bernal Park in Orange County, but also they have people in Cerrito, especially in the Chinese community. It's huge population. I remember, in the Cerrito, Carol Chan had been in the city council member, had been in the city council, had been the mayor for a long time. She endorsed you. How about some other Asian elected official? Did Michelle still endorse you? How about Yang Kim?
Sure. All the Republicans, they endorse me and they fully support me. However, I also have a Chinese leaders who are Democrats or no party. They're all supporting me, almost 100%. They don't want to come out right and put their on my website, but they support me, and I know they're going to vote for me.
Yes.
I think most of the Democrat leaders, they're behind me because they don't like these policies, but they're silent.
Yeah. Well, your opponent, she's have been in the city council, on the Sacramento for the last 12 years. She's strongly supported by the union, and she would listen whatever the public, want her to do.
So she has attacked me on two issues. What they're running on is race card and abortion.
Yeah.
Because I value every life matter. You have your freedom, I have my freedom. California, that's not an issue because California legalized full-term abortion. They passed AB 2223 into law where even an infant who is born within 28 days, they're not going to be prosecuted, whatever. So Roe versus Wade and abortion is not even an issue. The issue that we need to deal with is crime and inflation.
Yes.
But they don't have any platform because they're the ones who passed all that. They passed cell phone crime. They passed inflation, gas raised the tax. So they have no platform except for to run on race card. And they call me white supremacist because I'm against CRT. I'm against dividing us up according to our race and putting us fight with each other. Asians against Black, African Americans and African Americans against Latinos. Like we have to fight with each other. That's CRT. And I'm against that. And sex ed, they call me white supremacist. So race card and they go on abortion. That's all they can fight against.
Well, Assemblyman Philip Chen have been a strong advocate for our community. Last month, he went on our program and he gave us some warning. He said, I'm very lonely in Sacramento because I'm a Republican. I could not get any vote. 5 years ago, they rolled out, this SCA 5 to amend the Constitution to make sure when they do the college admission, race is a factor to consider. Is that what, the Asian Chinese community were able to defeat it, but they're coming back next year.
Yes.
And he said, this similar legislature is going to be in the Assembly and in Sacramento. He said, wake up. If you don't want your kids to be discriminated, you need to get Republican to check and balance and make sure those legislature will not be passed.
You know what is a bigger problem? The government is 100% one party.
Yes.
The legislators are a super majority. So things happen without the laws passing under the table.
That's right.
Even without that, the college admission has been rigged. It's not fair.
So that's the reason we need to act now, act today, and make sure candidate like Soo could get elected. One of the things we could do is that, because Asian vote play a very important role in 67 this Assembly district because get 1/3 the residents. And this is a good chance now because the red wave is spreading out throughout the country. Yes, this is the one, Soo, for assembly.com. And also in the description, I will list the Soo's website. People could go there and make a donation. I did. I want to support and make sure Soo get elected. People like her could make a difference, big difference. Over this year, over 1,000 legislature was passed within 3 weeks. And the governor signed into many other progressive. next year people will feel the impact, and many people will be puzzled. How come this never discussed? People like that, many of the doctor who will be losing their license if they tell their patients that, probably you're not fit, you do not need vaccine, because that's in their mind is misinformation. It was proposed and passed by a Chinese American senator, Andrew Pan. He never practiced medicine, but he want to force the doctor how to practice the medicine, even though he know nothing about medicine. So those are the scary things. Next year, our hamburger price is going to go up because the legislature passed a law that, mandating the minimum wage for the franchise fast food is be $24 per hour, the minimum wage.
Yes.
And all this impact, you said, how come I do not know? Because Democrat, they keep it in the dark. There's no challenge. There's not enough people to do the check and balance. That's reason, for that reason, we need to elect Soo. At the same time, we're frustrated by the children's education, how they're going to get educated.
Right.
If we don't do anything. Yeah,
I think the parents, they don't push their kids as much as before because they don't need SAT, but the aptitude will go down. We're just dumbing down our students. That's what we're doing.
That, and not only hurting the future of our children, but hurting our society as a whole.
As a whole.
So, any last words, so you could tell our viewer?
I am so shocked that I wasn't deeply involved with politics, but I am so shocked that most of the Asians that I speak with, Chinese community, Korean, Vietnamese, and even Latinos, they don't have any idea about the supermajority in Sacramento, that the 100% is one party. When I explain those two things, they go, oh, and they get it, regardless of the party. We have to get the message out to everyone, as many as possible, because Republican Party do not have the money in California state. We are fighting alone. We are suicide. In my district, it's a suicide mission. But we have to have people who's willing to step up and sacrifice to get the message out, especially in San Jose and Sacramento and San Francisco area.
Yes.
You might be comfortable. You might be living a good life with good income and good properties, wealth. But what's going to happen to your children? This government has so many regulations, how to run the hospital, how to run the school, and now how to raise your children. They're coming after you. Don't forget. It's a big government, and we are fighting cultural Marxism. That's what I have learned in the last 1 year. After I got canceled, the more I dig, this is cultural Marxism, and you're going to see the pattern. And everyone, all the Asians over 60 years old, almost 100%, they get it. And they're fully behind me, regardless of the political party. And that is the reality. And I am fighting for your children and my children and America, because this is a great nation.
Yes.
Very much.
Thank you. Also, if you live in Fullerton, or your family live in this area, Fullerton, Burnell Park, Cypress, La Palma, West Anaheim, Cerrito, Artesia, Hawaiian Garden, you're eligible to vote. And vote is important. Each vote counts. And this is a chance now, because this is not a general presidential election. The Democrat voter turnout is going to be low. If we rally all the people, the independents and Republican who could support our Republican candidate, we get a very good chance to turn the tide and make sure that you go out and vote for Soo. Thank you, Soo.
Thank you. If you don't vote for me, I'm going to sue you.
Soo, that's right.
Soo.
YOO. Yes. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Soo.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Bye-bye.